CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Back in St. Louis, ready for the Titans and the Rams. Hall of Famer Mike Munchak in his third season as head coach of Tennessee, and he'll be facing his former coach Jeff Fisher now in his second year with the Rams, and still has 16 of his players remaining on the Titans roster. Marv Albert along with Rich Gannon. The toss won by the Rams. They have deferred, so the Titans will receive, which means Damian Williams will be back deep. He has replaced Darius Raynaud, who had a rough day against San Francisco a couple of weeks back. Raynaud was cut. Guy who had 3 returns for touchdowns last season. So Williams, 4-year man out of Southern Cal, will be back. And the kicker, Greg Zuerlein, 2-year man from Missouri Western, will kick it off. St. Louis Rams wearing their 1999 blue and yellow throwback uniforms with the Damian Williams. And those uniforms, Rich, may provide a memory or two to Super Bowl 34, particularly from then Titan coach Jeff Fisher.
Oh yeah, he's obviously Fisher, 147 wins, Marv, most in franchise history, 6 postseason appearances with the Tennessee Titans.
Rams with 3 wins at home against Arizona, Jacksonville on the road, 38-13 victory at Houston. They come in at 3-5. And the return across the 25 to the 30 off that deflection. Jackie Battle came up with it and goes for 25. And here comes Jake Locker, who was actually carted off the field in week 4, originally expected to miss 3 weeks due to that knee and hip injury, and made the early return.
Yeah, I was curious to see, Marv, how he'd respond coming back from the injury. I thought he really threw the ball well and with better anticipation and accuracy against the 49ers.
And it goes right to the ground for Johnson. Johnson finding the hole. Gets inside the Tennessee 45, hauled down by Finnegan and McLeod. Cortland Finnegan, Rodney McLeod make the stop, a 23-yard run.
Well, one way you take the edge off that St. Louis Rams pass rush is to run the ball right at Robert Quinn. And Chris Johnson, he is scary when he gets up on the second level. They have struggled with the explosive runs early in the season.
Rich, a beautiful block by the left tackle, Michael Roos. Once again, Johnson trying to pick his way and then taken down, and ball knocked out of his hands, but he was down. James Laurinaitis on the stop, 5 more for Johnson. Up front for the Rams, Shelley Smith starting at right guard for the injured Harvey Dahl. Smith's first start of the season, and St. Louis hoping for more of the same from Chris Johnson. All right, here is Locker. His pass off the mark, intended for Nate Washington. Well, despite the loss this past Monday night, as you look at the lineups for the St. Louis Rams, it'll be a 3rd down and 5. And Locker's throw is caught over the middle. He has Justin Hunter, rookie from Tennessee, a 2nd-round draft pick, goes for 8 and a 1st down.
Yeah, simple slant route to Justin Hunter, and Jake Locker does a good job getting his eyes on him initially. Of course, you look at Justin Hunter, the talent is definitely there, but the consistency just hasn't been there for the rookie out of Tennessee.
First down for Locker inside the 35-yard line. And he's able to dump it off into the right flat. Short pickup for Colin Mooney, but a penalty marker is down. Referee is Pete Morelli.
Prior to the pass, holding. Number 31 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's on the former Titan, Cortland Finnegan.
Yeah, he's going to be matched up with the rookie Justin Hunter. They're going to play a lot of man-to-man coverage. He just grabs him and throws him to the ground. Cortland Finnegan anxious to play against his former team. He is a little hyped up here in the first quarter. They don't want him to run the football. They've got 8 men up there around the line of scrimmage.
First down inside the 30-yard line again. Johnson has been running well. He's pulled down from behind, and a flag. 2 flags come flying. Strong safety Darian Stewart making the stop.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, number 30, number 20 defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's on Darian Stewart, the strong safety.
Well, you just do everything you possibly can to get your hands on Chris Johnson. He has such speed when he gets out on the perimeter of a defense, and you can see Stewart here. He's just doing everything he possibly can to just get any part of that jersey.
St. Louis Rams' 4th most penalties in the NFL. Monday night against Seattle, they had 3 called defensively on 1 play. So another first down for the Titans. Flag down as Johnson gets the call again. Picked up 3. Another penalty flag.
Illegal use of the hands, number 93 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It is on Jermel Cujo. Chris Johnson's last rushing TD with a touchdown. Week 17 last season against Jacksonville, a 2-yard score in the first quarter. He's gone the first 7 games this season without a rushing touchdown, his longest career streak to begin the season. And now the one-time Jet, Sean Green, who was injured at the start of the season. Only a 2nd game of the year for Tennessee has come on at running back.
Yeah, a little bit bigger back that they can utilize down here in this part of the field.
First and goal. It is Green. And Green is in for the touchdown. Takes it in from 5 yards out for his first touchdown of the season. So the Titans with an impressive opening drive.
Yeah, really nice lead up. You're going to see Kendricks is going to get up inside, and then he just follows. Sean Green just follows Lance Kendricks and got a good nose for the end zone, but a really nice block there by the tight end.
6 plays, 68 yards in 3 minutes and 7 seconds. And a terrific start for Chris Johnson.
Again, it's actually, you look at the tight end there, it's actually Craig Stevens, but a really nice block there and a great effort here at the end by Sean Green, just extending that ball over the goal line.
So here is Rob Baronis for the extra point. Tennessee with the 7-0 lead. Just minutes into the first quarter. Back in St. Louis, a look at that good-looking drive by Tennessee. And Rob Baronis will kick it away now to the speedy Tavon Austin, the rookie from West Virginia, star return man at West Virginia with tremendous speed. And we will not see the speed because it is hit deep into the end zone, so they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. With NFL Mobile, you can get live video access to exclusive premium content on your smartphone. Call *NFL to download or go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more. Message and data rates may apply as we take a look at the backup quarterback, Kellen Clemens, filling in for Sam Bradford.
Yeah, and according to the coaching staff, Marv, he was a little nervous and uptight before Monday night's game. He did settle down this week. A much different demeanor. I think he realizes that this is his team the rest of the way. And I think he's dialed in, and I think he's ready to take advantage of this opportunity.
The running back, Zach Stacy, who had a terrific game the other night against Seattle, rookie out of Vanderbilt, and he stopped by Sammy Hill. Up front for the Rams, Shelley Smith starting at right guard for the injured Harvey Dahl, Smith's first start of the season. And St. Louis hoping for more of the same from Stacy, who had that huge game on Monday night. Goes about 5'8", 214 pounds. Line up in an offset eye. Second down and 10. Stacy looking for the hole. He is tripped up. Stopped by Jarrell Casey, and a look at the Titans defensively. Casey, who has made it back from an injury-hit season, has 4 sacks. Middle linebacker Colin McCarthy making his second straight start for the injured Moses Foku. And the secondary, the former Raven Bernard Pollard has added a physical presence. George Wilson is starting for the injured Michael Griffin, who is now out with a quad injury. Pollard incidentally signs a free agent from the Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens. Third down and 7 for Clemens. Steps up and runs out of the pocket. Has the first down and more. Slides across the 40. Fumbles, but he was down. Rams able to maintain possession on a 16-yard scramble by Kellens.
Well, good pressure here off the edge. And one thing Kellen Clemens can do is run with the football. He's not afraid to do that. And again, once he gives himself up and he slides, he is down. Once that knee is down, so that is not a fumble. Good look at Bernard Pollard. His eyes get as big as saucers when he sees a quarterback pull the ball down and run.
Handoff to Stacy. Gang tackle. Colin McCarthy, the middle linebacker, the first to get to him. So Stacy goes for 3.
It is so important, I think, for the Rams to really bring the energy early in this one. They're coming off the short week, and Monday night was a very physical, demanding divisional game. They practiced without the pads this week. As you're going to look at Brian Schottenheimer there, their offensive coordinator, they changed up the schedule. They've allowed the players to sleep in on Thursday. They want to make sure they're fresh. Remember now, the Titans are coming off of a bye week.
Second down and 7. Play action. And Clemens taken down. Jarrell Casey on the tackle for a loss of 2.
Well, Jarrell Casey's going to do a nice job. He's on the backside, and he just feels Clemens the whole way. He's going to come off, and he's able to make this tackle at around the line of scrimmage. But Casey has really played well this year for the Titans inside.
And Richard, that game Monday night, Seattle had the ball for only 40 plays. St. Louis for 71 plays. The Rams had it for 38 minutes. Seattle 22, yet Seattle able to hold on for the win. Clemens able to complete right close to the marker. Brian Quick, second-year player out of Appalachian State, making his 10th catch of the season, picked up 9, and it is a first down.
Yeah, you're just going to see Quick. He's going to work across the formation. He's running a little shallow route, and does a nice job after he catches it, trying to get that first down. Be nice to get it to him a little bit earlier to get him into the transition of the run.
First down at midfield for the Rams. Big hole for Stacy. What a second effort by Zach Stacy, and Bernard Pollard finally was able to get him to the ground.
Well, I really like Zach Stacy. I mean, this guy runs hard. I think many of his yards come after initial contact, and if it's not there, I like the fact that he gets what he can get. He's going to smash it up inside and take that 2 or 3 yards.
Another first down for St. Louis. Zach Stacy at Vanderbilt set career records for rushing yards, touchdowns. Rams traded up to draft Stacy in the 5th round. First down for St. Louis at the Tennessee 40-yard line, and here's Stacy again. He's so tough to bring down. He obviously runs very low to the ground at 5'8".
Yeah, and he can get lost behind that big offensive line. But it was interesting just talking to the Tennessee coaching staff about Stacy. They said, he's a no-name unless, of course, you follow the SEC. And they saw him each week down there in Nashville at Vandy. I mean, they're very aware of his skill set and his capabilities with the ball in his hands.
And with Darrell Richardson inactive because of an injured foot, Benny Cunningham and Isaiah Peed are dressed, and Cunningham is checked in and he's flanked out to the left side. Pass is complete. Cook from Clemens. Jared Cook, who was a 3rd-round pick of the Titans back in 2009, has had some big years with Tennessee, goes for 18.
And this is the matchup they want. They want Cook on Jarrell Casey. Casey's actually dropping in coverage, and he simply can't hang with the tight end.
Another first down for the Rams. Now Cunningham in the backfield. 10th play of this drive for St. Louis. Tennessee scoring on its first possession. They have a 7-0 lead, a high snap. And it's Cunningham with the big hole. Getting to the 10. Looked like he coughed it up. Cody Sensabaugh is on it and has recovered. So the backup defensive back, Sensabaugh, 2nd-year man out of Clemson, gets it back for the Titans.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Domino's. Visit Domino's.com. And by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
You just watch, this just comes out on his own. He just slips right out of his hand. Looks like it slipped against his bicep, and he can't believe it. Sensabaugh right there for the easy scoop up. Critical mistake in the red zone.
Benny Cunningham, a rookie from Middle Tennessee, who's been inactive the last couple of weeks. It was only his 18th carry of the season. 2nd down and 7 for the Titans. Again, it's Johnson. Picks up 8 and has a first down.
Well, the offensive line of the Tennessee Titans is doing a good job getting off the ball and really controlling the line of scrimmage in the running game. You look at the guys inside. Schwenke making just his 2nd start, and Levitri and Chance Warmack. Some big bodies up inside, and they're winning the battle inside right now against this Rams defensive line.
First down at the 21-yard line. 6 carries, 42 yards for Chris Johnson. Locker in trouble, and down he goes. Laurinaitis comes up with the sack. We're set for an update. Here's JB with Shannon Sharp.
Carolina continuing to play well.
After a Matt Ryan INT by Luke Kuechly. 4 yards, Mike Tobin into the end zone. 7-0 Carolina earlier over the Falcons.
The inimitable Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
What a turnaround for Carolina, looking to make it a record of 5-3.
Yeah, they've won 3 in a row, Marv. They're playing really good football. Cam Newton is on a hot streak right now, completing almost 78% of his passes.
2nd down and 15, back at the 16-yard line, out of the gun. Here they come. Locker able to complete. Delaney Walker had nowhere to go. It's an 8-yard pass play.
Well, it's nice, though. They pick up a bunch of it back here. And a nice throw by Locker to Delaney Walker. Walker's been a real nice addition to this Tennessee offense, having coming over from San Francisco in free agency.
It's taken over for Jared Cook, who ended up signing with the Rams. 3rd and 7 at the 24. Locker remains in the shotgun formation. Locker fires one that is incomplete, intended for Kendall Wright, who has had a spectacular second season. The Titans' leading receiver with 40 receptions.
And the Rams have been really fortunate. You look at their pass rush, they've been able to get a lot of pressure with their front four. When they choose to bring 5 and 6, and those pressures really get home. Locker didn't have time to take the extra hitch.
So the punting unit checks in. Brett Kern, 6-year man from Toledo, back at his 10. And Tavon Austin awaits the punt. Takes a high hop. Austin looking to cut back, could not. Good coverage as he's dropped behind the 20-yard line by Xavier Gooden. 51-yard punt and a loss of 5 on the return. Houston Oilers and the Tennessee Titans. Bud dying a week and a half ago at the age of 90, one of the founders of the old American Football League, so instrumental in the AFL merger with the NFL. Adams hired Jeff Fisher as head coach back in 1994, in which he originally paid $25,000 for the franchise rights of the Houston Oilers.
Yeah, one of the original members of the Foolish Club, the 8 AFL owners who took on the National Football League.
Clemens able to drop it off to Stacy. Broke a tackle and has a first down. Hauled down by Alterton Werner, the right cornerback. Picked up 12 on the play. And now the Titans' new president and CEO is Tommy Smith, the son-in-law of the late Bud Adams. Tommy and Bud's 2 daughters will oversee the operation of the Titans. The Titans are wearing a patch on their jerseys the rest of the season, honoring their late owner. 1st and 10 for the Rams. Clemens able to dump it off. Lance Kendricks, the tight end, comes up with the catch, but no gain on the play.
I don't know if the offense is going to change dramatically in terms of the scheme when you make the change from Sam Bradford to Kellen Clemens. I mean, Kellen Clemens, the good thing is he's got a lot of history in the system with Brian Schottenheimer. He was with Brian early in his career with the Jets, and so he's a guy that understands the system. I think he's going to be very good for the young receivers and backs with tips and reminders, and a guy that can change place the line of scrimmage as well.
Zach Stacy once again with the handoff, trying to pick his way. Gets to 35, goes for 3. Let's get back to our New York studios. JB and Shannon.
Hey, Marv, it pays to have the right tool.
The right tool, the right arm of Jeff Toole, the quarterback. The legs, Marquise Goodwin. 59 yards later, he's into the end zone. The Bills are on top of the Chiefs, 7-0 early in the first.
Marv, I know you've heard it all, but I couldn't resist that one. Marv Albert and Rich Gannon.
Yeah, I know that took hours to come up with. 3rd down and 7. Stacy remains in the backfield for the Rams. And Clemens with the completion. And a first down. Austin Pettis, 3-year man from Boise State, on a 13-yard hookup.
Well, they need to be able to generate some explosive plays with Kellen Clemens at quarterback, and these young receivers, guys like Austin Pettis, have to start contributing. This is one of the areas where they're very young. I think a lot of these sophomores need to step forward at running back and wide receiver. The production from the 2nd-year players, Richardson, who's not active, Pede and Givens and Quick at wide receiver.
Clemens 5 for 5, 52 yards in all here at the start. That's the end of the first. Titans with a 7-0 lead. We'll be back to St. Louis after these messages. On to the second quarter. Titans have a 7-0 lead on the Rams. Good start, though, for backup quarterback Kellen Clemens. Third year with the Rams after 5 seasons with the Jets, where he was a backup, a second-round draft pick back in 2006. Handoff to Stacy. Zach Stacy, rookie from Vanderbilt, goes for 4 yards.
Well, the good thing, Marv, as you were talking about Kellen Clemens, his teammates have been very supportive. I mean, they've rallied around him after Bradford went down, and I think his perspective has changed because of previous experiences in the league. I think he really appreciates the opportunity. I think he's just trying to enjoy the moment and play his best football and really put his team in a position to have a chance to win each week.
Remember, with the Jets as a backup, he did start 8 games when Chad Pennington was injured. It's only his 14th career start. Did well to get that pass off. Stacy is taken down right at the marker, picked up 5, and there's a flag thrown. Referee Pete Morelli out of Stockton, California. He is the principal at St. Mary's High School in Stockton. Do you think he hears from students if they disagree with the call, Rich?
First thing Monday morning.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty remains. Second down.
Look to be on Mike Martin, a backup defensive tackle.
He's just going to get an early jump right inside. I think just looks a little bit up. He's actually on the other side here. He just jumps the snap count just a tad in the back. Surprised he doesn't chip. Kellen Clemens does a nice job avoiding the sack and getting that one out quick.
Second and about a yard. Stacy remaining in the backfield. Stacy has the first down. Again, you can see how difficult he is to haul down. He goes for 7. Finally, Werner and Pollard were able to get him down.
Yeah, they've made more of a commitment to trying to run the football here the last month of the season. Even before Sam Bradford went down, I think they decided that in order for them to get where they need to go, they need to be able to have some balance and be able to run the football more effectively up inside, and that's really what Stacy does best.
This is a team that depended on Steven Jackson for 8 straight years of 1,000-yard running per season. Now a new look in the backfield. Cunningham checks back in. First and 10. Fake handoff, end around. Austin, as the Rams try to use his speed, he came right to left and picked up 6 on the play.
Well, this guy has rare ability. He's still learning the finer details of playing the position, but I think you're just trying to find creative ways to get him the ball in space. Again, just a little flip reverse, and you can just feel his speed once he gets on the perimeter of the defense.
It's a second down and 4. Cunningham remains in the backfield. And that earlier possession was Cunningham, who fumbled with St. Louis on a big drive. The pass completed for a first down. Tight end Lance Kendricks makes the catch. Stopped by Zach Brown and Colin McCarthy. A gain of 11.
And this is so important for Kellen Clemens, for him to get off to a good start. He's a perfect 6 for 6. It's a nice job just dumping this one down to the tight end, Lance Kendricks. And he just looks like he's in rhythm right now. And remember, in the open I talked about it, if he's in a rhythm and his footwork is good and he can be an accurate thrower of the football, we saw that last week against the Seahawks.
First and 10 at the Tennessee 19-yard line. 7-0 lead for the Titans. Hand off to Stacy. Went for 2. Hakeem Ayers, strong side linebacker, makes the stop. St. Louis Rams 3-5. The 3 wins at home against Arizona and Jacksonville on the road. A 38-13 victory at Houston. The losses at Atlanta and Dallas and Carolina. Lost here at home to San Francisco. And this past Monday night. A very tough loss to Seattle that came down to the final seconds. This is the 10th play of this drive. Clemens with a jump pass. You hardly see that. It's caught by Bailey, who picked up the additional yardage, setting up a 1st and goal. A 12-yard pickup.
Well, little Tim Tebow here. You see him jump up and make this throw, and Stedman Bailey, another rookie, just makes a terrific effort. Look at him use that right hand to keep his balance. That's a pretty good first career reception for the rookie from West Virginia.
Bailey, a 3rd-round draft pick, sets up a 1st down and goal. Zach Stacy in the backfield. Hand off Stacy. Tried the middle. Picked up a couple. Stopped by McCarthy.
Well, the Titans need to shore up their run defense. Now, they've lost 3 straight to Kansas City, Seattle, and San Francisco. And during that stretch, they've given up 141 yards a game on the ground. And that's something that has to get straightened out as you get a good look at Greg Williams, who's working alongside Jerry Gray. He worked for Jeff Fisher for 7 years, and including the '99 Super Bowl season. The run defense has not been good enough the first half of the season.
2nd and goal for St. Louis. Again, it's Stacy. He drives forward. He's in. Touchdown, Rams. Zach Stacy with his first touchdown on the ground. St. Louis with their first rushing touchdown of the season.
Wow, he's got a low center of gravity, and he just runs with power, and you can see the excitement from Jeff Fisher on the sidelines.
Drive that began back at the 20-yard line, 12 plays, 80 yards in 8 minutes as Greg Zuerlein comes on for the extra point. So the Titans and the Rams are tied at 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the redesigned Honda Odyssey. Honda, start something special. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Back in St. Louis, Marv Albert, Rich Gannon, Rams, and the Titans tied at 7. You see that St. Louis drive. As I mentioned, the first rushing touchdown of the season for the Rams, and it's the rookie, Zach Stacy, who came up with it. Damian Williams, who's returning kicks for the first time in the NFL. He did return punts during his college years, and he'll stay right there. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. So here comes Jake Locker, Tennessee back to the offense.
Watching the NFL on CBS.
Titans 1st and 10 from their 20-yard line. Sean Green, the running back. Titans 3 and 4. They dropped 3 in a row. They started out at 3 up and 1 down. Green gets the call, picks up 4.
Well, let's take a look at the 3 big questions as it relates to the Tennessee Titans. People want to know where Jake Locker is. Is he all the way back? Well, he may not be 100%, but I think he's getting close. And the fact that he was able to play 2 weeks ago against the 49ers is huge. And where's Chris Johnson? I'm not so sure I have the answer to this one. Well, he's capable of big performances. Unfortunately, they've been few and far between. And finally, I believe they're still developing an identity on defense with Greg Williams and Jerry Gray. I think Greg Williams wants to be more aggressive, while Jerry Gray is a bit more conservative.
Locker looks to throw, fires the middle. Nice catch made. Delaney Walker goes for 5. Well, Chris Johnson got off to the nice start, and he had said before the game that he's very happy to play on the synthetic turf. He felt it might help him.
Yeah, well, he's the guy that, doesn't take very long, Marv, to get up to top speed. I mean, he can go from 0 to 80 in a heartbeat, and you look at the consistency. In talking to the coaching staff, the big thing is they've fallen behind in some games. Even the 49ers game, where they felt he needs to be on the field and he needs to touch the ball, 18 to 22 times a game.
It's a 3rd down and 1 as Green remains in the backfield. Locker swings it out. He has Green. Green with the 1st down and more. Green down the sideline. So Sean Green out of the backfield, finally pushed out by Rodney McLeod, the free safety. It's a 28-yard catch and run.
Well, simple little wide route, and he just gets out on the edge of the defense. And I mean, there's not a whole lot to this, but you do get a sense and a feel for Sean Green's speed in the open field. Catches the ball very well.
Led by Mike Otto, who's playing for the injured David Stewart at right tackle. Stewart inactive because of a shoulder problem. So a 1st down inside the 45. Johnson tries to cut back, got the block, and gets right to the line. Cortland Finnegan was able to chase him down. See why millions of fans have followed Person of Interest to its new night and time. Don't miss a new episode Tuesday at 10 o'clock, 9 Central, only CBS.
Well, it's a good look at the Rams defense there. You've got to be very disciplined with your eyes and gap sound when you go up against a back like Chris Johnson. I mean, you can't give him a crease, and you know he's a guy that can really hurt you. You've got to discourage him from getting on the edge of your defense.
Blue 80. Good go.
Look out. Locker under pressure is taken down by William Hayes, who comes up with his 3rd sack of the season, and the Rams with 26 sacks for the year.
Well, you're going to get a look at Mike Otto up top here. He's taken the place of the injured David Stewart, and he struggles. I mean, he clearly does not do a good enough job with his punch, and William Hayes is there for the easy sack.
We talked about that front 4 at the start. Robert Quinn leads the NFC with a total of 10 sacks, 3 the other night against Seattle. 3rd and 13. The swing pass right. Picks up the extra yardage. Picked up a couple more. That was a problem last year. Says he lost weight, and you can see the difference this season as Alec Ogletree was able to get him out of bounds. A 6-yard pickup and all for Kendall Wright. And the punting unit will come on. So once again, we'll see Tavon Austin drop back. And Brett Kern backpedals to his 45-yard line. That's the good hang time. And the fair catch is handled by Austin. 30-yard punt, but did the job. Rams and Titans tied at 7. Back in a moment. Back in St. Louis, aerial coverage of today's game being provided by DirecTV. St. Louis Cardinals have had much success over the years. This is a huge baseball city. What an exciting World Series. Although I know St. Louis people would have felt a little bit differently had the Cardinals pulled it out against the Red Sox. Zach Stacy picked up a yard on the play. Certainly helps to win in terms of football. It's never been the same here. Perhaps the Super Bowl year, but Jeff Fisher feeling that he's on the way. Last season 7-8-1, a turnaround year for the new head coach. Led the Rams in the hunt for a playoff berth in mid-December following that 2-up and 14 down season 2 years back. 2nd down and 9. Big hole for Stacy. Carried for 4.
Well, the one thing we know the Rams are going to do is stay after it in the running game. And just in talking to Titans coach Mike Munchak last night, he said he wouldn't be surprised to see them try and come in here and just wear us out by running it 40 times. They can't allow it to happen. They've got to be able to win on 1st down.
It's a 3rd down and 5 at the 15.
This is where the Titans have been solid on 3rd down defense. Opponents converting just 33% of their 3rd down opportunities.
Clemens out of the shotgun. Gets the protection. Trying to connect with Tavon Austin. Slightly off.
Yeah, you know, that ball came out flat. When he's that wide open, boy, you got to give him a chance to make a play. He just, right off the line of scrimmage, he beats Jason McCourty, and boy, he's not the tallest guy, but you still got to give this guy a chance to make a play.
First incompletion for Kellen Clemens, 7 of 8 here at the start. So Damian Williams back for the punt. He was an exceptional punt returner in college at the Southern Cal. Hasn't done it in the pros except in preseason. And good coverage. Williams taken down across the 35, 56-yard punt, 7-yard return. Game tied at 7. And a penalty flag has been tossed. So we'll stay right here. Pete Morelli checking with his crew.
An eligible man downfield, number 50 of the kicking team. The 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
Another penalty against the Rams. Ray Armstrong is called on that penalty. Back in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx One Rate. Simple, flat rate shipping with the reliability of FedEx. Kelley Blue Book. Everything you need to make a smart new car decision is at KBB.com. And by Walmart. Walmart's got the season's hottest gifts at everyday low prices. Come in and see for yourself.
Beautiful 51-degree day here in St. Louis, Missouri, as the Titans take over. Chris Johnson in the backfield. Locker on the roll, and his pass incomplete, intended for the H-back Craig Stevens. Well, coming up on the Verizon halftime report, you can see, Rich, the intensive preparation by the guys. JB, Dan, Chad, and Boomer. Bill Cowher will have all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Boomer, knowing he's on camera, makes a motion
like he's doing
Shannon.
something, right? Hardest working guys in show business.
2nd and 10 at the 41. Johnson, gang tackle, nowhere to go. It's a loss on the play. Kendall Langford, the left defensive tackle, leads the way. It's a loss of 3 for Johnson. Last season, Chris Johnson got off to the poor start, then came on, ran for 1,200 yards following the disappointing 2011. Remember, back in 2009, he ran for 2,006 yards, scored 16 touchdowns.
Well, he's still capable. This guy just needs some opportunities, and they've got to play a little bit better up front.
3rd and 12 from the 39. Locker in trouble once again. That front 4 coming alive in the second quarter is Langford with the sack. That's his second. Robert Quinn with the initial hit.
Well, they're just so good up front. You look at the initial pressure from Quinn. Quinn forces Jake Locker to step up inside, and Kendall Langford is there to make the play. They couldn't cut him off the previous play, and now he's there for the sack. But boy, they get your attention in terms of how they come off the ball with their front 4.
So Brett Kern back to punt. A low snap that he was able to handle. Here's Austin on the return. That's across the 40. Bo Brinkley on the tackle. Just under 3 to go, first half. Well, it's the gateway to the west. Rich, did you know the Gateway Arch is the tallest man-made monument in the U.S.? We had our staff check that out.
To confirm it, I've been there.
Yes.
You visited that the other day.
This is Stacy. Bouncer to the outside for 6. Stopped by Zach Brown.
Yeah, I really like the start that Kellen Clemens has gotten off to, Marv. I mean, the ball's coming out quick. He's making good decisions, featuring a lot of short and intermediate throws. Completed 7 of 8 with completions to 6 different receivers. This Tennessee defensive line not getting a chance to get to Kellen Clemens because he's getting it out so fast.
Clemens looking at a 2nd down and 4. Stacy in the backfield. And Stacy runs for another first down. Stacy, the rookie from Vanderbilt, Picks up 5. First down for the St. Louis Rams.
That is a 2-minute warning.
And we have reached the 2-minute mark this first half. Quick moving game. Rams, Titans tied at 7. Rams take over first down at midfield. A good first half for the backup quarterback Kellen Clemens. He has Zach Stacy, who again has run well. Oh, that's a drop pass. First drop of the day by a team that is among the leaders in that department. Jared Cook not able to hang on. Coming up, a reminder, Verizon halftime report. JV, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher will have all the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Now, earlier in your career, Rich, you were a backup. How difficult is that to come in a situation like this?
Well, it is. I mean, particularly when you're replacing a guy like Sam Bradford, and I think what the expectations are, he's got to stay within himself. He's not Sam Bradford. He's got to do the things that he does well, and I think so far we've seen that, from Kellen Clemens.
6 more for Zach Stacy. Clemens in his 3rd season with the Rams. He was with Brian Schottenheimer, offensive coordinator with the New York Jets prior to coming to the St. Louis Rams. Clemens in his 8th year out of Oregon, looking now at a 3rd down and 4, and a timeout is taken by the Rams. Their first timeout in this first half. Game tied at 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. And by Applebee's. Vets and active duty military enjoy a free Applebee's entree on Veterans Day.
Rich, this particular shot took 8 hours for our director Andy Goldberg and producer Jim Rickoff to put together, and they tell me it's Amber who is on that carriage, which is of most significance. Chris Gibbons, the intended receiver. So 4th down coming up.
A wasted opportunity there for the Rams. Had to burn a timeout on after 2nd down. They had some issues with personnel, and now you give the Tennessee Titans an opportunity with 3 timeouts and a minute 24.
So Damian Williams back in the single safety at his 8-yard line. And here is Johnny Hecker, who is setting up a fake punt. He was a quarterback in high school.
Delay of game.
But it's a delay of game.
5-yard penalty remains. 4th down.
Johnny Hecker last year completed 3 passes on fake punts. 0 for 1 this season. Always dangerous in that situation.
Yeah, and you talk to both of these head coaches, and you're always looking for an advantage. Mike Munchak knows Jeff Fisher so well, and I don't think there was a fake there. I think it was clearly an opportunity, or they were looking for an opportunity to draw the Tennessee Titans off sides.
Hecker, 2nd-year man from Oregon State, who goes 6'5", about 235 pounds. And now he is back in punt formation. Down to a minute and 24 remaining in this first half. This time Hecker able to angle it. And Williams makes the over-the-shoulder catch. It's a 32-yard punt. Well, Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS rolls out a day-night doubleheader. First, the Bulldogs try to stop Heisman winner Johnny Manziel and the Aggies, and then it's Zach Mettenberger and the Bayou Bengals against A.J. McCarron and the unbeaten top-ranked everything Crimson Tide. All starts with CBS College Football Special and College Football Today. Last night, Johnny Football, 6 more TDs, 4 passes, 2 on the ground.
Yeah, how about these 2 teams, LSU and Alabama? They've combined to win 5 of the last 10 national championships.
Titans take over at their 12-yard line. The screen is set up for Johnson. Chris Johnson stopped by Cortland Finnegan. Johnson always dangerous as a pass receiver, went for 10. And that 66-yarder 2 weeks ago against the 49ers and put on world-class speed. Walker from the gun is being chased, and it is incomplete.
Well, that doesn't hurt you. That stops the clock. He's going to get tackled anyway. Not suggesting that he did it on purpose, but incompletions don't hurt you in 2-minute drills on first down. Not there. He comes right back. And again, this is where Chris Johnson can be so dangerous. He's averaging over 11 yards a catch. As you see the pressure get to Locker.
Both his touchdowns this season have come on pass receptions. 2nd and 10 for the Titans from their 22-yard line. 49 seconds left in the half. Walker intercepted, picked off by the former Titan Cortland Finnegan. He returned last week after missing 3 games with an injured thigh. Came over from Tennessee last season in that lucrative deal, and he certainly sets the tone with his physical play.
Well, Cortland Finnegan reads it the whole way. He's got his eyes in the backfield. They're just going to run a little under route to Kenny Britt. Look at Cortland Finnegan. He just about runs the route for them. And again, familiarity. Here's a guy that studies a lot of tape, and he does a good job recognizing route concepts.
That's a big play. Sets up a 1st and 10. St. Louis at the Tennessee 26-yard line. Out of the gun. The screen is dropped. Dropped by Stacy. 2nd drop pass this afternoon.
Way too many drops so far this season for the Rams. They've got 25, 3rd most. And again, you got to be able to track the ball. And I think what we see with a lot of these young receivers, they're starting to peak before they catch it. They want to see what's going on downfield. 25 drops already this season.
2nd down and 10 at the Titan 26-yard line. 40 seconds remaining, first half. Clemens from the gun. Pumps. Now throws sideline. Intended for Gibbons, who was well covered.
The one thing you see Kellen Clemens do, Marv, is when it's not there, he has the ability to get outside the pocket a little bit. He's got good escapability. Does a nice job keeping his eyes down the field.
Clemens started by hitting on his first 7 passes. Missed on his last 5, although there were a couple of drops within those 5.
This is what they need to do better. They need to finish in this part of the field. They started off the season so strong, and they've cooled off recently. They just 1 touchdown their last 7 trips down in the red zone.
Gibbons left, Cook right. Clemens stepping up, and it's broken up. Nice play by Bernard Pollard, stepping in front of the tight end, Jared Cook.
Well, you're going to see Cook and Pollard come down, and Pollard's not known as a real cover safety, more of a run support safety, but he just sits on the little outbreaking route. Pollard, of course, played football last year for the defending world champion Baltimore Ravens. He's a guy that brings a physical presence to that secondary.
So here is Greg Zuerlein attempting a 44-yarder, 14 of 15 on the season. And this one is no good. He missed this past Monday night from 50, a narrow miss and a critical miss in the loss
Watch
to the
Johnny
Seahawks.
Hekker spin it. He's trying to get those laces around. And again, I'm not making excuses for the kicker. Zuerlein has been terrific this year, but that's frustrating. You get a big turnover and you're not able to capitalize before halftime.
Going back to last year, he had hit 15 in a row, and last year as a rookie connected on his first 15 attempts. So that is a big break for Tennessee.
They dodged the bullet there, no question.
Walker and the Titans take over. Johnson off the screen, gets across the 35, a short pickup. met by Ogletree. And a timeout is called by the Titans. So we'll take a break. Rams and Titans tied at 7. Back in St. Louis, 19 seconds remaining in this first half, a 2nd and 8 for the Titans. Locker throws to the far side. It is incomplete, intended for Nate Washington. Nate Washington has not been a target in this first half.
But Locker's been getting knocked around a lot, even as he throws the football. Tennessee trying to take a shot, get half of it. You see Hayes come off the edge.
And Jake Locker, playing with that knee brace, has a hip and knee injury. Down to 15 seconds. 3rd down and 8. And they go to the inside handoff. Johnson able to break free for the first down.
Now timeout.
Chris Johnson taken down by Trumaine Johnson, the left corner, and Chris Johnson went for 15. We've seen some nice runs here by Chris Johnson today. Fantasy football fans, check out CBSSports.com Player Challenge, a new 4-week game with a cash prize in every league. See rules and sign up at CBSSports.com/challenge. On the subject of fantasy football, Chris Johnson, over the years, has been a fan favorite, and obviously to this point it's not delivered this season.
No, not the big days from him. And again, you go back to last year, I think in half of their games he rushed for less than 60 yards. He's been hit or miss for the Titans.
Walker with time running out. He was dumped inside of the 50-yard line by Robert Quinn. And they use their final timeout with 1 second remaining in the half.
Well, Jake Locker's got to be careful when he runs with the football. Remember now, he's coming off of a hip and a knee injury. He's wearing a brace for the first time, and you can't allow these defensive players to get on your legs. You see that brace there on the right knee. And it doesn't take much, you know, for someone to fall on you funny, for that thing to swell back up, or for that brace to start sliding down your leg. It'd be cumbersome to a guy that's not used to wearing it.
And now the Rams take a timeout as they discuss the possibilities of what Tennessee is about to do, with not too many possibilities actually, but 1 second remain.
Yeah, they're going to take it. They're going to try and hold the ball, let those 3 receivers up on the right side of the field, the far side of the field, run down there, and hopefully Locker can give him a jump ball in the back of the end zone.
Well, you can get inside the mind of a quarterback. Join Phil Simms, our very own Rich Gannon, Steve Berline, Adam Schein, and special guest Gary Danielson on NFL Monday QB. That's tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. All right, 1 second left in the half as the Rams drop back deep for this possible Hail Mary attempt by Locker.
Well, you just want to take a shot. You want all 3 of these receivers to run downfield. And
all right, Locker stumbled as he tried to avoid the rush. And that, in anticlimactic fashion, ends the first half. It's the Titans 7, the Rams 7. Locker 7 of 13, 67 yards, 1 interception. Clemens 7 of 13, 75 yards. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. Well, Rams head coach Jeff Fisher would love to see a victory come through against his former team, trying to pump up his club. It's a 7-7 tie as we head to the second half.
yeah, really an emotional kind of talk there at halftime from Jeff Fisher. And it always means something, I think, when you're going against your former team, whether you're a player or a coach. I think it always means a little more. My sense is that he's extremely motivated here in the second half.
let's take a look at the first half performance presented by Intel. And trailing 7-0 after Kellen Clemens drove the Rams down the field. It was Zach Stacy, the rookie running back, punching it home from 3 yards away.
Yeah, pretty even when you look at the first half stats. The thing that does get your attention, though, are those 4 sacks at the bottom there. And Tennessee Titans, they've got to do a better job protecting Jake Locker. He's got knocked around way too much in the first half.
St. Louis will receive to get this second half underway, and they have Tavon Austin back deep. Rob Baronis getting set to kick it off. Kellen Clemens started out hitting on his first 7 passes. To this point, Austin has been held in check. Star return man at West Virginia. They keep it away from him. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Clemens 7 for 13, 75 yards, starting for the injured Sam Bradford.
Yeah, and he really started off hot there, Marv. You see 7-7, then he cooled off right before halftime. And if you're Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator, you got to find a way to get him back in rhythm. And a lot of his completions were the short and intermediate throws where the ball was coming out quick. I think they're going to do a good job trying to mix things up on first down. Maybe throw the ball a little bit on first down. Give him a chance to take a shot down the field. Plenty of man-to-man coverage that they've seen here today.
Running back is Zach Stacy. And this is Stacy finding a hole on the left side, but it's closed up quickly by Sammy Hill.
Well, you really like the way the Rams have responded. It was not the start they were looking for defensively, but they were able to come back and get a score. And again, the 3 and out, you see 3 and out there. This is a team that's had a bunch of them, and it can be demoralizing to an offense. Got to be able to put together some long drives here in the second half.
Second down and 8. Hill on that last play shaken up. Once again, it's Stacy. Gain of 3. Talked about Zach Stacy earlier. 5'8" running back out of Vanderbilt, a 5th-round draft pick. The Rams' second selection on the 5th round. They were concerned about him earlier in the week because of an ankle problem, but he said he'd be all right, and he certainly has, and now he is flanked out. Empty backfield for Clemens. Clemens throws the middle. He has Stacy, who's able to pick up the first down. So tough to haul down. Zach Brown and Bernard Pollard finally do it. It's a 12-yard gain and a first down for the Rams.
Well, this is the matchup they want. They want Stacy on Zach Brown. Look how far off the linebacker's playing, and all Stacy's going to do is just go up the field and just turn around. And you don't even feel Zach Brown. He is playing so far off because he respects the feet, the speed, and the quickness of the rookie running back.
First down across the 35-yard line. Benny Cunningham gets the call and goes for 3. Rookie out of Middle Tennessee, who was basically signed as a free agent as a special teams guy or a kick returner.
Yeah, it was really interesting. We're talking to Jeff Fisher on Friday about Benny Cunningham, and he said he was studying some tape of some SEC schools, and all of a sudden he kept coming back to this small running back out of Middle Tennessee, and he had an injury in his senior season, and of course they took a chance on him, and it's really paid off.
2nd and 7 from the 40, a deep drop from Clemens, and he's able to hit the mark of this. They spotted Chris Givens on the reception.
I really like what Kellen Clemens is doing. You just watch his movement in the pocket. There's a nice 7-step drop, steps right back up inside, resets, recocks the ball, keeps his eyes down the field. We've seen this a bunch from him today, and these tackles of the Rams are doing a nice job running these defensive ends up the field and kind of solidifying things up inside for Kellen Clemens.
And Clemens did pick up the first down.
Kellen Clemens changing the play at the line of scrimmage.
Play action. Clemens stepping up. He throws. Oh, a nice catch made inside the 35-yard line by Brian Quick, which is an excellent name for a receiver.
And he's just that, Marv. I mean, he runs really good routes. He's the guy, their deep threat, the one they want to throw the ball to down the field. And play action has been good for the Rams, especially when they've run it so well in the early downs with Stacy. But Werner has his hands full with Quick going across the field.
That's a 20-yard hookup and a first down at the Tennessee 33-yard line.
120.
Good opening drive here by the Rams. The toss to Stacy. Made the turn. That took a hard pop. He thought he saw the opening, but Colin McCarthy was right there, so he's held to a 2-yard gain.
I don't think he ever feels McCarthy. Right there, and it's too late. You know, you got your eyes downfield, and you never feel the scraping linebacker, and McCarthy's a very good tackler in the open field.
Stacy has carried 19 times for 69 yards and a touchdown. Second down and 8 for the Rams. Clemens thrown to the outside. Beautiful pass called in by Gibbons. McCarty on the coverage. It's another St. Louis first down, 15-yard pickup.
Well, the one thing the Rams have is speed at wide receiver. You can see how far off McCourty is playing against Chris Gibbons. Really respecting that speed that they have at wide receiver.
St. Louis first and 10 at the Tennessee 17-yard line. Titans and Rams tied at 7. 5 minutes gone by here in the third. Stacy, the lone D-back. And again, Stacy up the middle. Crowd loves him as he picks up the extra yards. Mike Martin on the stop. That's a 9-yard run for Stacy.
Wow, they are really getting some movement up front with Scott Wells and Shelley Smith, who's taken the place of Harvey Dahl and Chris Williams. And really doing a nice job allowing these running backs to get up on the second level.
Rich, how about that block by Lance Kendricks to lead the way for Stacy? 2nd and 2 at the 9. So a balanced drive on this possession. And off once again to Stacy, and he's in for the touchdown. Zach Stacy with his second touchdown of the afternoon.
Well, they run the power play. They're going to pull the offside guard. He kicks out. The fullback gets up inside, and they've had a lot of success running behind the left side of that offensive line.
So here is Greg Zuerlein for the extra point. Terrific drive by the Rams. They go 10 plays, 80 yards. They eat up just under 6 minutes. St. Louis with a 14-7 lead on Tennessee. Rich, another outstanding game for the rookie, Zach Stacy. 21 carries, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, 134 yards on Monday night against Seattle, and they could have really used him on that last drive against the Seahawks. And again, missed some practice time earlier this week, but boy, he has looked sharp here today against the Titans.
And now that last drive, he had that ankle injury. I know there was some criticism about the play call that Brian Schottenheimer said he'd do the same again. This is Damian Williams getting an opportunity. Williams puts the speed on, broke tackles, and reaches out to the 30-yard line. Stedman Bailey makes the stop, but a beautiful return, 37 yards for Damian Williams.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former military members and their families. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Tennessee starts out at their 30 following the good return by Damian Williams. They're down now 14-7. Chris Johnson stopped at the line. Jolon Dunbar, the outside linebacker, on that tackle.
You know, Tennessee got off to that great start. 7 plays, 68 yards, go for a touchdown. Look at that, though. After the first drive, they just haven't been able to get anything going. And now you start looking at time of possession. The Rams have had the ball twice as long here in this game. 23 minutes to just 12:46 for the Titans.
Once again, the handoff to Johnson, picking his way. Went for 9. So it'll be a third down and 1. 11 carries, 61 yards, and a long of 23 for Chris Johnson, which matches his longest gain of the season.
Yeah, I think I hate to see him come out of there. I understand it's a short yardage situation, but he needs to touch the football.
And Sean Green has come on for Johnson.
Little lady! Good go!
And Green tries to angle his way across the marker. Chris Long was right there.
Well, they brought in Sean Green, some smash to go along with Dash and Chris Johnson, but Green was inactive for the first 5 weeks with an injury. But you know, I think he brings a different style to the running game. You look at a big banger guy that rushed for 1,000 yards a year ago with the Jets. Doesn't have the speed to get on the edge of a defense like Chris Johnson, but Chris Johnson needs to keep feeding him the football. You know, he'll go 3 yards, 2 yards, 4 yards, and he'll bust one for 60 if you give him enough opportunities.
Green did pick up the first down. You mentioned the injury. Hurt his knee in the season opener, so forced to sit out. Now Johnson is back in the backfield. Here's the play fake. And the pass over the middle caught by Kendall Wright. And has a first down and more. Kendall Wright, stopped by the combination of Janoris Jenkins and Rodney McLeod, goes for 18.
Well, they just run a little slant route off the play action, and you can see how far off Cortland Finnegan is playing. Kendall Wright was terrific as a rookie, hauling in 64 receptions, and he's picked up right where he left off a season ago. Led the team with 40 receptions coming into today's game.
First down at the St. Louis 41-yard line. Johnson trying to bounce it out. Stopped by James Laurinaitis as we head to our New York studios. JB and Shannon.
Shannon Sharp.
Buffalo's going to drive the nail in the coffin. Sean Smith says, not so fast. 100 yards. INT return for a touchdown, and the Chiefs have knotted this ball game 10-10 late in the third.
The D has been doing it all season. Back to Marv and Rich.
All right, guys, it is a second down and 9 at the 40. Walker able to complete. He has Mooney, Colin Mooney, bouncing off several Rams players on a 22-yard pass play. Finally was Alec Ogletree who was able to get to him.
Well, they are going to bring pressure off the edge, and Mooney's just going to slip right out. He bluffs, and they just draw the rush, and Locker's able to dump it to Colin Mooney for a big play. Really nice execution there by Mooney, faking as if he's going to block.
Hand off to Johnson. This time he's able to make the turn. Well, it's an all-new night of comedy on CBS, beginning with How I Met Your Mother and Two Broke Girls, followed by the premiere of the new Mike and Molly and Mob. It all starts tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. It's a good-looking drive here by the Titans, trying to tie the game. They're trailing 14-7. 2nd and 7 down at the 15-yard line. Johnson remaining in the backfield. 8th play of this drive. It started at the 30. Out of the gun. Johnson to the other side. Johnson using his speed. He's in for the touchdown. Chris Johnson goes 14 yards for the score.
Boy, Chris Johnson has really had some success today running off tackle. You see the Rams just get washed down, and he just, once he gets up on the second level, he is just too hard to bring down. But you can't give him a 10-yard start. You've got to be able to win at the line of scrimmage with a back like Chris Johnson.
And Rich, that is his first rushing touchdown of the season. And Rob Baronis. The game is tied at 14. Chris Johnson putting the speed on, crossing over. 14 carries, 80 yards, and the TD. Well, Chris Johnson having what probably will turn out as his best game of the season. His high for the season back in September, 25 carries, 96 yards in a game at Houston. Thus far, 80 yards, 14 carries, comes up with his first rushing touchdown of the season. The game is tied at 14. Austin at an Ocean decides to stay right there. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Just under 5 left in the third. And Kellen Clemens and the Rams will get back to the offense.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new 2014 Jeep Cherokee, built free. And by Surface, the one device for everything in your life.
This is a matchup of two teams that certainly at this point are in the playoff hunt. And the Titans and Rams tied at 14 with just under 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. And a flag is thrown as Clemens puts the start out of the 20.
Number 65 offense.
And a false start on the left guard, Chris Williams. It's been a day of streaks being snapped.
Yeah, both. You look at the Rams have had a difficult time running the football in the red zone. Same thing with the Tennessee Titans. And, of course, how about Zuerlein, who's been so good this year from inside 50. He misses one from 44, but both teams have had success running the ball inside the 20s.
First down and 15 now for St. Louis. The running back is Stacy. Deep drop by Clemens, and his pass is thrown away. Chris Gibbons is in the area, covered by Alterin Werner.
I thought it was interesting talking to Cortland Finnegan, the cornerback of the Rams, on Friday, and he said he spent quite a bit of time earlier in the week in the film room with Kellen Clemens and some of the young receivers, just bringing them up to speed on what they could expect from guys that he's played against in this Tennessee secondary. So he spent a lot of time making sure that they knew what to expect going into this game.
And the Tennessee players, even those who have played with Cortland Finnegan, said they know they were going to hear a lot of chatter from Cortland. No question. Clemens' pass was deflected, and it's Stacy who was able to get to it. An alert play by Zach Stacy ends up as a 4-yard gain.
Well, that scares the heck out of you if you're a quarterback. Anytime a ball gets tipped at the line of scrimmage, particularly in this part of the field, it routinely winds up in the hands of the defense. And you can see right there, great effort in the middle of the screen by Sammy Hill. He's able to deflect it, and you can just see the relief on the face of Kellen Clemens.
Sammy Hill side is a free agent out of Detroit. Goes 6'4", got a piece of it. Now Clemens in trouble. Throws sideline. And nothing there. Lance Kendricks on the catch for 2. Cody Sensabaugh making the tackle. And here comes the punt unit.
You look at Kellen Clemens, kind of nifty in the pocket. He's been moving around. He's been forced to move off the spot most of the day. Tennessee's done a good job getting around the feet and legs of Kellen Clemens.
Third punt by Johnny Hecker. Damian Williams calling for the fair catch. It's a 53-yarder by Hecker. 3:28 left in this third quarter. The game tied at 14. Great memories right there for Rams fans here in St. Louis. Super Bowl 34, victorious over the Tennessee Titans. Well, Green able to break through and works his way, bowling his way across the 40 for a first down. An advance of 15. Rodney McLeod, the free safety, on the stop.
Well, this is a scary sight. If you're a safety for the Rams, you're going to see, wow, look at Sean Green just lower the boom on McLeod. That's a little bit of a mismatch, a little bit of a size advantage for Sean Green.
So first down for the Rams, and again, Green has run well. Picks up 4 more. Hey, this week don't miss the show that's in a league by itself with guys who take out all 32 teams and each other every week. James Brown, Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth, Inside the NFL. The show the pros watch Wednesday at 9 only on Showtime. Second down and 6. Tennessee at its 45-yard line. Green remains in the backfield. Green right back to the line. Laurinaitis makes the stop, and this is a Tennessee team that's dropped 3 in a row. They started out at 3-1, still very much in the playoff picture for a wild card. They've played a very difficult schedule.
Yeah, they have, but they've been inconsistent, and you look at how they've played. I think they've been inconsistent up front along the offensive line. They've got a bunch of new people in there this year. Levitri coming over from Buffalo. Warmack, their first-round pick. Schwenke, a 4th-rounder. I think they've played much better in terms of their run blocking as opposed to their pass blocking.
Third down and 6 at the 45. Here they come. Walker fires, almost a beautiful catch. Kendall Wright nearly came up with a one-handed grab.
Well, he had it for a while there. He just wasn't able to pull it in, and this one came out kind of hot. This would have been a very difficult catch. Great effort by Wright. You can see Long, he's been bringing it off the edge. They're chipping with him to try and slow him down, and Walker falls away from that throw. May have affected his accuracy there just a bit.
So here's Brett Kern punting away to Tavon Austin. Angles to the near side, and Austin lets it bounce into the end zone, so they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. And Rich, we've come up with yet another new, enormously popular feature. We've tested it on a number of levels. It's Rich Gannon's history lesson today. It's these teams matching up in Super Bowl 34. Dick Vermeil's Rams against Jeff Fisher's Titans featured one of the greatest tackles of all time as Mike Jones tackled Kevin Dyson 1 yard short of the goal line in a 7-point game. The Rams' first Super Bowl victory in franchise history.
Yeah, it was a special moment for Dick Vermeil and his football team, and I think one of the more dramatic finishes to a Super Bowl. You think about that tackle by Mike Jones on Kevin Dyson. I mean, that was, Jeff Fisher thought for a second Dyson was going to score.
Professor Gannon.
I love history, Marv. You know that.
Incidentally, that was the first touchback of the season. The punt of Brett Kern. Here's Stacy in the backfield, gets the handoff. Goes for 5. Coming up next, it is Big Ben, Tom Brady, Steelers, and the Patriots, or the Ravens facing the Browns. Check local listings. Patriots 6-2 down there on top of the AFC East. Tom Brady and company.
Yeah, they're finding a way to get it done despite the injuries. And how about the Ravens, Marv? They've won 11 straight against the Cleveland Browns.
They've been up and down. They're looking to even the record at 4-4 here today. Second down and 5 for the Rams. Stacy try to accelerate. Just a yard. Time running down in this third quarter.
As well as these two teams have run the ball, you'd think that the play-action game would be more effective. There just hasn't been a lot of big plays in the passing game. You look at Clemens, just 134 yards passing, Locker just 107 yards, and yet you've got two backs that have done a nice job. Johnson already with 80 yards, Stacy with 92. They've done a good enough job taking advantage of play action.
3rd down and 4 at the 26-yard line. Bullet pass, incomplete, intended for Gibbons. Covered by Werner.
Well, this is really good coverage by Werner. He's playing off, but watch him drive once he sees the underneath route. And again, they're repeating some plays, and you can see the Titans are starting to drive on concepts that they recognize, either from their film study or from splits and formations that the Rams are lining up in.
Punter Johnny Hecker takes at the 12. Drifts to the far side, and Williams will let it go. And that will do it for this 3rd quarter with the score. Tennessee 14, St. Louis 14. We'll be back to St. Louis after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back to St. Louis, Missouri. Aerial coverage of today's game being provided by DirecTV. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon. Titans and Rams tied at 14. 4th quarter getting underway. Tennessee 1st and 10 from their 29. Chris Johnson returns to the backfield, takes the handoff. Thought he had a hole, and he's collared by Kendall Langford. Rich, you look at what has taken place thus far. I'd like to see a guy take a shot down the field.
Yeah, I think it's been fairly conservative play calling, really, from both offenses. And at some point, I always learned, Marv, you've got to make the secondary play. You just can't give them a free pass all day. And I think that you've got to be able to take some shots down the field and make these guys work on the edges.
You look at Darrell Loggins' first full year as an NFL coordinator. The Tennessee Titans. Here is Walker, who looked like he was trying for the shot down the field. Instead, Chris Johnson is able to run it out. Picked up.
And that's a positive. It really is, Marv. I think, you talk about taking a shot down the field. And if it's not there, the next best thing is check it down. You see Cortland Finnegan just jaw, but if it's not there, look, you dial up a protection, you block them up. You want to take a shot. Now the next best thing, check it down to Chris Johnson, pick up some positive yards, and put yourself in a very 3rd and 1 manageable situation. Good football by Locker.
3rd down and 1. Tennessee at its 38. We're just getting underway. 4th quarter. Now Locker fires and has the 1st down. A diving catch is made by Justin Hunter, the rookie out of Tennessee.
And just the 4th completion today to a wide receiver. Most of the balls have been going to the tight ends and backs. I think Hunter's going to be a good one once he figures it out.
Last year at the University of Tennessee, 73 catches, 9 touchdowns, a 2nd-round pick of the Titans. The handoff to Green. Sean Green has run well. Stopped by William Hayes. Green picks up 5 more.
Then we look at the pass distribution, not a lot of production from the wide receivers. And the one thing we have seen, though, from Tennessee is yards after the catch, particularly from Chris Johnson. Those little 2-yard routes that turn into 6- and 7-yard gains.
Last week's game against, 2 weeks ago against San Francisco, because Tennessee fell behind 17-0. They went away from the running game, so Johnson did very little on the ground. Here's Walker on the run, and his pass is incomplete. Trying to connect with Nate Washington, is still looking for his 1st reception of the day.
You got to be careful running these boots and nakeds into what we say is an unblocked defender on the line of scrimmage. I mean, they've got no one accounting for William Hayes, and so the quarterback is certainly going to get hit when he throws the football.
Washington splits wide to the right side. Johnson in the backfield for this 3rd and 5. Here they come. Locker gets protection and is able to complete. He has Damian Williams who puts moves on, that is tripped from behind. Taken down by Janoris Jenkins. A 20-yard pass play.
A really nice throw here by Locker, just sitting in there. And a good route on the corner. Janoris Jenkins gets his back turned around. Damian Williams does a nice job on the comeback. Really nice delivery here by Locker under duress.
What was Locker telling us yesterday? Janoris Jenkins will take chances.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll sit on certain routes. You have to see throws when you throw in his direction.
First down at the 32-yard line. And here is Johnson busting it. Johnson inside the 15. Chris Johnson run out by Rodney McLeod. Goes for 24 yards. So Chris Johnson over the 100-yard mark for the first time this season.
Yeah, and what did Cortland Finnegan say to us on Friday? If you want to see how fast you're not, just allow him to get out on the edge. I mean, he has what I would describe as rare and unusual speed. You have to change your angles of pursuit in the secondary when Chris Johnson gets rolling.
16 carries, 105 yards, and a touchdown for Johnson. Sean Green checks in for this 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. A handoff to Green, gets inside the 5, met by Robert Quinn.
And good red zone teams historically have been able to run the ball in this part of the field. The field gets shorter, a little bit more difficult to make those throws. Defensive backs don't have to cover as much ground. Wants a little water.
Best game of the season for Chris Johnson, and has had help from Sean Green. He missed 5 games because of injury. 2nd and goal down at the 4. Green remains as the lone setback. Green takes the handoff. He is stopped. Loss on the play. Kendall Langford coming up to make the tackle. It's Langford, number 98, a loss of 1 for Green.
Well, I thought Sean Green may have had an opportunity backside. Look, right here, freeze it. I just thought he had a chance to maybe sneak it, but he stays play side. Whereas Chris Johnson is more apt to wind runs back to the backside. He misses that cutback in the A-gap between the center and guard.
3rd and goal at the 5. That's the 10th play of this drive that started back at their own 29. Green remains in the backfield. Locker takes out of the gun. Looks. Locker on the run. Locker with the keeper. Touchdown, Tennessee. The quarterback draw for 5 yards and the score.
Well, if you're the Rams defensively, you have to deal with Locker's escapability and his mobility, even with that hip and knee injury.
And a knee brace.
And a knee brace. Tough guy. One thing I really respect and admire about Jake Locker, as you said, Marv, after that injury, people thought he'd be out 5-6 weeks. He came back a lot sooner than most expected.
Rob Baronis connects on the extra point. 10 plays, 71 yards in 5 minutes and 18 seconds. This is Locker taking it home, and his head coach, Mike Munchak, certainly enjoying that move. Rich, a beautiful drive engineered by quarterback Jake Locker, and it was a combination of the running backs Chris Johnson and Sean Green.
Yeah, they really did a nice job mixing it up, and you watch a couple of those runs, and they had eight defenders in the box, and they still ran the ball right down the middle of that Rams defense.
Here's Rob Baronis kicking it away. Tavon Austin is back, and he'll run it out. Tries to angle it. Oh, a nice spin, but he's down at the 20-yard line. It's a 25-yard return. Taylor Thompson on the cover-up. So let's see what Kellen Clemens can do with his team down by 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Powerful answers. TD Ameritrade. And by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today.
All right, 6 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Rich, how does Kellen Clemens and his Rams play it here, down by 7?
I don't think he changed dramatically, Marv, although I'd like to see him take a shot or two on first down. They've run the ball a lot in this situation.
The rookie Stacy in the backfield. Deep drop by Clemens. Goes over the middle. Gibbons was tripped up short of the first down. Stopped by the former Raven, Bernard Pollard.
Well, I thought the Rams really missed on some opportunities in the first half. Benny Cunningham fumbles in the red zone, a self-inflicted wound, and then after an interception late in the second quarter by Cortland Finnegan, they fail to capitalize again in this part of the field with the 44-yard field goal miss by Greg Zuerlein. You see the frustration there from Jeff Fisher. You don't get that many opportunities in a game. You've got to make them count when you get down in that part of the field.
St. Louis with a 2nd and 1. And off left tackle, Zach Stacy running well, cuts back the other way, still alive with the first down and more. What a series of moves by Stacy. He goes for 32 yards. And a flag.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, number 99. Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It is on Jarrell Casey, which adds to that run.
Well, you know I like to play pinball, and just watch this run by Zach Stacy. I mean, he just continues to bounce off tacklers. There's one. Nice spin move. There's 2. You'll see another one here. McCourty misses. He tries to go low. Boy, this guy has been impressive for the Rams. And there's a tackle, late tackle out of bounds by Jarrell Casey.
So it's McCourty, Pollard, and McCarthy who had opportunities. 24 carries, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. For Stacy, Cunningham is now in the backfield, takes the handoff. Stopped by Ayers, the strong side linebacker. Cunningham picking up a couple.
You got to get him back on the field. He's just over there trying to get his wind. And you talk about conditioning, how important it is for a young player. You just see there he's struggling a little bit.
Different story here today for the Rams. Overall, Stacy has done the job. Cunningham has also contributed. It's a 2nd and 8 at the 22. Now Cunningham off to the far side. Now returns to the backfield with Clemens working out of the shotgun. And he throws over the middle. Has the first down. Completes with the tight end, Jared Cook. That's a gain of 10.
Well, Jared Cook, he's very quarterback friendly. He's got a huge catching radius and a knack for creating some space. He just really knows how to lean on a defender, and he's the guy that in third down situations and down in the red zone, you really have to have your antenna up. They like to throw the ball to Jared Cook in this part of the field.
And Rich, Zach Stacy is back. First down at the 13-yard line. The handoff to Stacy with a stutter step. And works his way to the 10, met by Colin McCarthy. Colin McCarthy starting for the injured Moses Foku. McCarthy in his 3rd straight start. Injury hit last year. Ankle and concussion problems. 3-year man from Miami.
We've really seen the Tennessee Titans commit extra defenders to the box on the early downs to try and stop the run, and the Rams have still had success running the football against this front 7.
2nd down and 7 at the 10. Tennessee up by a touchdown. Here's Clemens throwing, end zone. Just off the mark, intended for the tight end Kendricks. Covered by Pollard.
Boy, I thought this one had a chance. He just puts good air on it. He just puts it a little too far out in front of Lance Kendricks, and he just can't make the play. Clearly, he got on top of Pollard.
Looks like Kendricks is hurting. The medical staff out to take a look. We'll be right back. Critical play coming up here for the Rams with 6:20 left in the fourth. A 3rd down and 7 just outside the 10 with Tennessee up by a touchdown. Zach Stacy, the running back. He's to the right of Kellen Clemens. Austin is flanked wide left. Clemens will throw end zone. Touchdown! Connecting with the tight end, Jared Cook on a post pattern.
Just a 3-man rush from the Tennessee Titans. They drop 8 in coverage, but Kellen Clemens just sticks this one into his tight end. I mean, he throws this ball before he's even out of the break. Great anticipation by the quarterback. And you look at Cook, he's being covered by 2 linebackers, and they still can't get it done.
It's been a very impressive performance by the backup quarterback, Kellen Clemens. Now, Greg Zuerlein will look to tie it up. And he does. For Jared Cook, his first touchdown since back in week 1. The game is tied at 21.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Quicken Loans, for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze. And by Subway. Go bold with the new Subway Sriracha Chicken Melt today.
It's been a good one here in St. Louis. Rams and Titans tied at 21. First touchdown pass for Kellen Clemens in quite some time. Damian Williams back for the kick. And he will take it out. He hesitated for a moment. He saw the opening. Reaches out near the 15-yard line. Arian Stewart there to make the tackle. Well, this Thursday on CBS, Will Arnett, Margot Martindale, and Beau Bridges star in the #1 new comedy, The Millers. Thursday after the Big Bang Theory. 6 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. Titans will start out from their 14-yard line. Chris Johnson, the lone back. Play action. And Locker able to complete. Kendall Wright putting the speed on. A huge play for the Titans. Rodney McLeod, the free safety, was able to chase him down, but that's good for 45 yards.
Yeah, just a quick slant, and he does a nice job just fitting it behind the linebacker and in between the safety, and a good way to start the drive. And this is really where you earn your money as a young quarterback in the league. When you go on the road, you're in a tight football game, the ability to finish at the end when it matters the most.
Third catch by Wright, first-round pick last year out of Baylor. Has had a big start to this season. First down at the 41-yard line, and Johnson is bottled up. Remember last year, Kendall Wright had 64 catches to lead Tennessee, but there were complaints because he averaged under 10 yards a catch on the 64 receptions. And we touched on it earlier, lost weight during the offseason, and he's been running better after making receptions.
Yeah, and he's an explosive player. Not the biggest guy, but he can beat you off the line of scrimmage with his speed and quickness.
Second down and 9 at the St. Louis 40. Play action. Locker throwing way off the mark and intercepted. Intercepted by Rodney McLeod, his first pick of the season.
Well, there's some confusion there. You had Nate Washington coming across, and looks like Jake Locker looks out in front of it, but clearly some confusion between the quarterback and the receiver.
The Rams will take over with just under 5 remaining in the fourth. Brooks, this past Monday night, the Rams had a terrific opportunity to pull one out against first place Seattle, down 14-9, seconds remaining, but Clemens goes with the pass incomplete to the end zone, and the Seahawks escape with the victory, and here is a chance off that interception to pull one out against Tennessee.
Yeah, you got to be able to finish, and they weren't able to do that on Monday night. Frustrating performance there at the end when they had opportunities in the scoring zone.
Stacy stopped by Pollard, no gain on the play. And we mentioned before the offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer, saying during the week that he felt good about that final call. Now, Stacy was hurt. He had hurt his ankle, and he thought that that was the right play.
Yeah, they felt pretty good about it. Of course, they brought pressure. Seattle did off the edge. And a couple things as I went back and watched it. Kellen Clemens rushes the throw, doesn't set his feet. And maybe a better route by Brian Quick. I mean, you at least have to give the receiver a chance to make a play in the back of the end zone.
Second down and 10 at the 21. The toss to Stacy. And they have him wrapped up. Picked up 4. Sammy Hill leading the way, and there's a flag down. Referee Pete Morelli.
We have tripping, number 65 offense. 10-yard penalty, remains second down.
Well, the call against the left guard, Chris Williams. And Greg Zuerlein, one of the stronger legs in the NFL, although he's had some difficulty recently. Missed that 50-yarder on Monday night.
Well, it's important not to get too far ahead of yourselves here in a 2nd and 20 situation. They've got to be able to get half of it back.
Still a long way to go with 3:50 remaining in the 4th. Time for Clemens, able to complete. Stacy want to get him in open space, and they succeed as he reaches out near the 25-yard line, met by McCarthy.
And that's a positive play, and you just look at the quickness of Stacy, where he's really become a much better route runner out of the backfield. He's got a good feel for the passing game, and then he is a tough tackle in the open field.
Picked up 13 on that pass play.
But his change of direction is incredible.
About 9 tackles for Colin McCarthy, 8 solo. 3rd down and 7. The ball at the 24, empty backfield. Clemens in trouble. Oh, he fumbles. It's loose. Covered up by Derek Morgan of Tennessee. What a turnaround. Looked like Jarrell Casey forced it. And Derek Morgan, first-round pick out of Georgia Tech 4 years ago, comes up with the football.
Well, we've seen this a number of times today from Kellen Clemens, where he's had to step up inside. The pressure off the edge forces him back up inside, and I think what happens initially there is Casey knocks it loose, and Morgan's able to come up with it. A huge turnover for the Titans in the red zone. Ball security, we talk about it each week, Marv, how important it is to have 2 hands on the ball as you step up inside the pocket.
And let's see now how Tennessee plays it. They're going to want to play the clock also, just under 3 to go. In this 4th quarter, Johnson finds running room. Johnson for the touchdown. Forget about playing the clock. 19-yard run for Chris Johnson, who has had a terrific day.
Well, the off-tackle play has been so effective for the Tennessee Titans. And I give a lot of credit to Mike Otto. They do a nice job getting movement at the point of attack and getting up on the 2nd level. Mooney gets a big block. Otto gets a big block. Warmack and Chris Johnson does the rest.
2nd rushing touchdown of the day for Johnson. And here is Rob Baronis. The costly fumble by Clemens leading to the touchdown, and a 28-21 lead for the Titans. How about Chris Johnson? 18 carries, 125 yards.
Yeah, you go back and look at it. They're going to get a lead with the fullback, and of course Chris Johnson is just downhill. But look, it's not like they're short up here. They've got 8 defenders down in the box, and they're having success running right off the edge. they're not doing a good job getting off of a block. And again, once Chris Johnson gets up on the second level, you're just simply not going to catch him. Man, he has got a unique running style.
He has sprinter speed, instant acceleration when things are going well, which they have today.
Yeah, and again, the turnover, the pressure off the edge forces Clemens to step up inside, a little careless with the ball. We talk about ball security, and Derek Morgan is there for a huge play for the Titans. Now if you're Kellen Clemens, look, all you got to do is regroup. You get another opportunity here. You've got 3 timeouts, plenty of time left, 2:54, the 2-minute warning. You have to have a short memory.
And when you say short memory, talking about quarterbacks who just have to forget about a mistake.
You have to be able to turn the page, Marvin. If you throw a touchdown or if you throw an interception, you have to be able to move on. And I learned that from Joe Montana, who was one of the best in the business. Regardless of what happened, he spent very little time looking in the rearview mirror.
Tavon Austin takes it deep in the end zone to bring it out to the 20-yard line. I would think at times that is very difficult to do.
It can be difficult, but look, you don't have time to think about what just happened. I mean, you know, look, he's actually been playing okay today. He's done a nice job taking care of the football with the exception of the lost fumble there. Nice job seeing out in front of throws. He's done a nice job managing the game at the line of scrimmage, the run game. He's got plenty of timeouts left, 3, and of course, he's got the 2-minute warning. So time is not really much of an issue in this situation. They have to have a little bit of a sense of urgency, but they have plenty of time on the clock.
Rams start out at the 20-yard line. 2 minutes, 54 seconds remaining in the fourth. They go with the 4 wideouts. Clemens with the pass off the mark, intended for Austin Pettis.
Well, you can't miss that throw. When you get him open, you've got to be able to hit him. And that first play of the drive, I always say, is an important play. Again, just errant throw, not a bad decision, but just a poor throw by Kellen Clemens.
Looking at Sam Bradford, out for the season with a torn ACL. His surgery is scheduled for next week. 2nd and 10 at the 20-yard line. A deep drop by Clemens as he goes sideline and is out of bounds. Intended for Austin.
Well, this one had no chance, and just look at the timing and the rhythm and how important it is in the passing game. Watch where this ball lands. I mean, you got to at least give the receiver a chance to make a play. Keep him on the field. I always say if you wait, you're late. Tavon Austin was out of that break in a hurry. Big play here.
Gibbons flanked to the left side. Here's Clemens. On the rollout, can't find anyone now. Throws a dangerous throw, incomplete, intended for Cook, not able to hang on.
Well, decision here to make if you're Jeff Fisher. I think they're too deep in their own territory. They're going to punt the ball with 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning and try and pick up some field position.
Plus lots of time, 2 minutes, 37 seconds. So Hecker will punt. Damian Williams is back. Hecker from his 6 with his 5th punt of the day. And it's a good one. Fair catch called for as he's run into. It's kind of a late fair catch indication. Run into by Brandon McGee. It's a 57-yard punt. Let's see how they sort this one out.
Well, he's got to give the receiver a chance to make the play. The returner, Damian Williams, he had no chance. As soon as he catches that, tries to catch it, McGee is right there.
It's kind of a hesitation by Williams, and at the last instant, right there.
Well, he's going to say that he got pushed into him. Yeah, I think Campbell pushes him right. Well, he's trying to block him. Regardless, you can't do that. You have to allow the returner an opportunity to make the catch. That's what they're discussing right now, whether or not he got pushed into him, I suppose.
There is no foul for kick catch interference because the player was blocked into him. However, illegal block in the back. Number 57 of the 37 of the kicking team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, Campbell, they're going to get him for an illegal block. He pushes McGee, and McGee winds up running right into the returner. Great concentration there by Damian Williams just to try and hold on to it.
Damian Williams handling kickoffs and punt returns for the first time in his NFL career. He's done it in preseason. He had been a punt returner in college at Southern Cal.
And he brought one back in the preseason for a touchdown.
Williams replacing Darius Reynaud, who had a very difficult game 2 weeks ago against San Francisco. So with the penalty, Tennessee 1st and 10 from their 10-yard line.
Now you got to eat some clock up here. You got to be able to run the ball and get a first down. Make the Rams use those timeouts.
Chris Johnson finding a hole and then tripped up, stretching out to the 15. Michael Brockers made the stop. St. Louis takes a timeout with 2 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter.
Well, Mike Munchak has been in this situation a lot as a player and as a coach. And if you're Jake Locker, the message to the offensive line is here's where we need it the most. We need somebody to make a play. Got to be able to run the football successfully, get a first down, and force the Rams to use those timeouts. You've got to be able to remind the back, 2 hands on the football, stay in bounds. Be smart when you get towards the sidelines.
2nd down and 6. Johnson, he found a hole, and he's hauled down at the 30-yard line, picks up the first down. Finnegan was able to chase him down, but 18 on a big play by Chris Johnson.
And all he needs is a crease. This is the opportunity for big runs because everybody is committed to the line of scrimmage.
First down at the 32 when we resume after the 2-minute warning. 1st and 10 for the Titans from their 32-yard line. Chris Johnson in the backfield. Tennessee up by a touchdown. Just under 2 to go. In this fourth quarter is Johnson with a short pickup. Gain of 2 and a timeout taken again by St. Louis. All right, from Tennessee's point of view, how do you play it right here?
Well, you're going to run the football. They can run it. They can afford to run it 3 times and make the Rams use those 2 timeouts. In that situation, Marv, they'd have a chance to get the ball back with about a minute left to go in the game with no timeouts left if they can find a way to get a stop here on 2nd and 3rd down. But if you're Dal Loggins, the offensive coordinator, you want to run it here twice. Hopefully Chris Johnson can bust another one and get your first down. You get a first down, the game is essentially over for the Rams.
And what a huge game for Tennessee. They could go to 4-4, just a game and a half behind Indianapolis. The Colts 5-2. They play tonight at Houston. So the Titans can be right in the race. Once again, the handoff to Johnson, and nothing is there. Another timeout, the final timeout taken by the Rams.
Well, we always say you've got to be skinny. They're trying to run this power play, and the right guard, the rookie, Chance Warmack, he just falls down. Well, once he falls down, the fullback falls right into him. Mooney and Chris Johnson has nowhere to go.
It is now a 3rd and 10 for Tennessee at the 32-yard line. Nate Washington, who has been very quiet, flanks to the right side. The running back is Johnson. And here is Johnson, stutter steps, and then he's popped at the 35-yard line. So the Rams able to stop the Titans. It's Alec Ogletree.
And just run the clock down here and punt the football and get it back to the Rams with about a minute to go with no timeouts. They need a big return here from Tavon Austin. If I'm punting the football and I'm Brett Kern, I'm not going to give that guy an opportunity to return the ball. I'm going to kick it towards the boundary there, trying to coffin corner kick. I don't want to allow this rookie to make a big play. He has already brought one back this year that got called back on a penalty, but he is capable.
Kern to this point has done a nice job, even his coming up with his first touchback of the season. Timeout now called by Tennessee.
Well, I like it. I like the fact that Mike Munchak is going to talk about this with his punting unit.
Minute 5 remaining. Fourth quarter, Tennessee with a 28-21 lead on St. Louis. The story for the Titans, Chris Johnson, 150 yards rushing, his most since back in October of last season, and 195 yards, 2 touchdowns in a game against the Bills in Buffalo. There's Tavon Austin, who has tremendous speed, rookie from West Virginia.
Well, don't give him an opportunity. We saw just a moment ago Nate Kaiser, the special teams coordinator for the Titans, talking with their punter, Brett Kern. And of course, there's a good look at John Fossil, the special teams coordinator for the Rams. He wants to give that rookie a chance. Pin it into a corner. Don't give this guy a two-way go.
Here's the punter, Johnny Hecker.
Right down the middle.
And back comes Austin. Accelerates down the sideline. Keeps going. And he stepped out of bounds. Tavon Austin with a terrific return. It was Xavier Gooden who was able to get him out of bounds. Let's see where they spot it with 50 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter.
Well, I think he just barely steps out of bounds right there. But again, why give this guy an opportunity, Marv? You and I just talked about it. That's bad coaching.
It's a 51-yard return. I should say 24-yard return for Austin.
Well, you complete a ball in the playing field. This offensive line's got to hustle up there and clock it. Quarterback Kellen Clemens has to be able to use the boundary.
Rams start out from their 39-yard line, 50 seconds to go. In the fourth, they're down by a touchdown. Clemens in trouble, swings it out. He has Stacy, looks to get to the sideline to stop the clock. St. Louis out of timeouts. It's hit out by Pollard, picked up 4.
Yeah, this doesn't hurt you. What you can't do in this situation with no timeouts is take a sack. Throwing the ball away on first down is not a bad thing. But you've got to be smart. If you're a running back, a receiver, a tight end, you get the ball, you've got to try to find a way to get out of bounds.
Second down and 6, so that took 7 seconds. Clemens able to complete, wide open. Gibbons.
Now you got to clock it.
They have no timeouts left. They have to get to the line and spike it. Clock running, just under 30 remaining. And that stops the clock. That was a 25-yard pass play.
Well, a really nice throw here by Kellen Clemens. We've seen a bunch of them here in the second half, and he just throws it right over the linebacker in between the safeties to Chris Givens. And Givens is going to do a nice job just working back in the middle of the field. And does a nice job getting down so that they can get up there and clock it.
Down to 26 seconds remaining. Clemens able to complete. Stacy runs it out of bounds, able to stop the clock. Picked up 6 more. 21 seconds to go. Tennessee up 28-21.
Well, you've got to be smart now. It's 3rd and 4. You got to be certainly cognizant of getting the first down. But again, 21 seconds left. At some point, you got to start taking some shots at the end zone.
And here are the Rams, similar to Monday night against Seattle, moving down the field. Monday night they had a chance to win it. Now they're trying to tie it. Clemens pumps and fires for the end zone. Off the mark. Crowd looking for an interference in the end zone. Austin Pettis looked like he took a shot. Bernard Pollard was on the coverage, but no flag.
Well, you've got a 4th and 4 now with 16 seconds left. And you almost have to either get one out of bounds quickly or take a shot at the end zone.
So once again, Jeff Fisher and his Rams come down to a 4th down play, this time with 16 seconds remaining and going for the tie. Clemens throwing, end zone, and it is incomplete, intended for Pettis. And excellent coverage.
Boy, it was a great idea, but a poor execution and a poor throw by Kellen Clemens. I like the fact that you take a shot on 4th down, but you got to at least give the receiver a chance. This one's too close to being out of bounds.
Jason McCourty on the coverage, kind of boxed him out. And the congratulatory hug on the Tennessee
kind of
bench.
awkward.
With 10 seconds to go.
Ready, go!
It's a big win for Tennessee. With Indianapolis, as I mentioned, 5-2. They play at Houston tonight. Tennessee evens the record at 4-4. Remember, they got off to the good start. 3-1 and then lost 3 in a row. And St. Louis with another tough loss. They now go to 3-6. Marv Albert, Rich Gannon saying so long from St. Louis. Let's go to New York. James Brown.